Heyo everyone, I'm Kronos, and this is an updated tutorial of Act 3 for the new route, the Rogueporting route, that I used for my latest Honor Mode speedrun. This route saves around a minute and a half to the route that was used before, but it is quite a bit more difficult to execute. As always, if you're interested in seeing more, make sure to like and subscribe. So, before we enter Act 3 here, we're going to start with this Gith fight, since we're going to be leveling up Jaheira in a different way, so as long as you followed everything up to Act 2 in the previous tutorials up to this point, you should pretty much be at the right spot right here after skipping the cutscene and finishing the Shadow-Cursed lands. So from here, we normally have Featherfall and Enhanced Sleep already active, and we're just going to jump our right way down to Jaheira, cast Enhanced Sleep on Jaheira, and go ahead and recruit her by clicking on her, clicking Join Me, and then you want your Tav to just jump off the edge here. So just move your cursor to around where path is interrupted and do the spam jump. Otherwise, you can just jump this way and jump off the cliff into the abyss. Either way will work. And what that does is it kills your Tav.
Yes.
From there, you just have Jaheira start making her way down to Withers to respec her. So, same thing as before, just jumping our way all the way down to the bottom here. And we're going to be leveling up her to have very specific stats here. So once again, click on Withers, say what kind of services can Skeleton offer, what's the cost, and can we change our class. So from here, instead of choosing Fighter like before, we're going to choose Wizard. And from here, cantrips don't matter. The spells you want to make sure you have Enhanced Sleep and Featherfall for Jaheira here. And for abilities, we're going to level up the same as we did before, which is 17 Strength, 16 Dexterity, and 15 Constitution. Once you do that, click Confirm, and we're going to level up both Jaheira and Lae'zel. So we're going to click on Jaheira first, and this is the most important part. We're going to choose Jaheira's subclass for Wizard to be Conjuration. This allows her to get a very useful level 6 spell, which lets us teleport. So from here, these spells don't matter. We don't need to prepare any spells yet. So we're just going to keep going from here. This is the only other spells that you really need to get as well, which are Misty Step and Invisibility. And except from there, at this level, cantrip doesn't matter, the spells don't matter, but the feat does, so you want to make sure you have Athlete here for enhanced jump distance. For this level, the spells don't matter, and we're going to make sure that our prepared spells here, once we reach 4 of them, to be these 4, which is Enhanced Sleep, Featherfall, which should be selected from earlier, and then Misty Step and Invisibility. And these are the 4 spells that you need, and the only 4 spells. So once you get that level, when we level up to level 6, this is the level that gives us this ability, Benign Transposition Teleport. This is the spell that is used for Rogueporting here, and it's very important that we have at least this level. For this, doesn't matter what spells we select here and what spells we prepare afterwards. And same with this level, just select whatever spells. And finally, we have level 8. From here, we want to make sure we have our feat, and this is Ability Improvement of Strength to 20. And 20 strength is required in order to kidnap Orin in her shapeshifted form in Act 3. So that is very important to have. Otherwise, you can use a potion such as an Elixir of Giant Strength, to get 21 strength, but most likely you'll need to find a shop or something for that. Once we click accept there, we head over to Lae'zel's levels. If you've already done this before, Lae'zel should be at level 3. Here, we just want to make sure that Lae'zel's still a fighter with the action surge here. So, level up that. Choose champion subclass just because it is, like, doesn't have all these extra selections that we have to make. And for our feat, we want to just make sure that Lae'zel has alert. So once we do that, we're going to do a long rest here. And just skip through all the dialogue by right-clicking and pressing 1. And you should start in this spot like this. So from here, this is where we're going to do the Gith skip like before, but instead of doing it with Jaheira, we'll do it with Lae'zel since Lae'zel now has alert. So we cast Mage Hand on the ground, cast Action Surge, and we cast the Gith Yankee Jump ability on Lae'zel. From here, we just jump towards the portal and do the Gith skip like before. So once again, that's clicking the portal, clicking our dead Tav, and the Mage Hand by clicking F3 for our keyboard for our Tav, and then Mage Hand just manually with a left click. So it'll look like this. And if you do it correctly, you should be able to have Mage Hand selected here. And then from here, just shove Lae'zel off the, or Shadowheart off the edge. Once they're off, go back and select Jaheira or Lae'zel. Do the toggle group hide, which is Shift plus C, and enter back through the portal. This is effectively the same thing as using invisibility, and then go ahead and long rest. From there, we're able to left click to leave camp, and we are all good to go. So once you enter Act 3 here, you're going to switch over to Jaheira now, and this is where the start of Rogueport route really comes into play. So if you did everything correctly, your Tav should be dead on the floor here, so just go ahead and pick them up. You don't need to set infinite status right here since it won't be active, since we'll be picking up Tav multiple times in this route. So just go ahead and do that. Toggle everything that you need, so make sure Jaheira's on her own. And we're just going to go ahead and cast Featherfall and Enhance Sleep on Jaheira and start making our way down. So this part is a little bit of the same as before. We're going to just jump towards the entrance to Worm's Rock, but instead of going onto the rooftops immediately, we're going to take a detour right as we arrive in this section. So right here is Lens the Journalist, which is Jaheira disguised as her, as you can see, with all these additional stats. So make sure you don't talk to her. And what you're going to do is kidnap her by doing the kidnapping, which is described as before. Left click to throw, and then left click right click to do this animation cancel. From here, we're just going to jump in this direction, so we can jump onto this rooftop here. Also, once you get onto this rooftop, we're going to jump down at this pretty specific spot right here. So this spot allows us to both do multiple things. One, it discovers this waypoint for the south span of Worm's Crossing, which is very important. And two, when we release Orin right here with the throw command by doing it once more, Lens will be facing in this direction towards Jaheira. So we're able to walk around her and be hidden from her when we do all this sneak stuff here. And this is where the main part of Rogueporting comes into play. So how it works is we're going to be placing our Tav inside of Orin's inventory right here. And what we're going to do is use Mage Hand to shove Orin to trigger her to teleport back to where she is stored, which is the dev area. And that is done by using the benign transposition here on our Tav, who is in Orin's inventory. So we get teleported into that dev area. And this is a pretty precise timing and can be pretty difficult to do. So I'll go step by step. We're going to crouch to hide, and we're going to go ahead and pickpocket lens and use our Tav and drag the Tav into here. You can also do it manually from your inventory, but this is a lot easier by just click and dragging into the inventory. So once you do that, you're going to cast Mage Hand on somewhere pretty far away because you want to be able to time the shove and the teleportation to happen at basically the same time. So when you cast a Mage Hand, make sure to separate the Mage Hand so Mage Hand doesn't go and follow you, because the Mage Hand will start pathing towards you and you don't want it to be too close to Orin here. So from here, you want to make sure you short rest so you have the ability to cast Mage Hand again, because after doing the teleportation stuff, the Mage Hand will still be stuck in the conversation with Orin here. And in order to proceed, you need it to not be in that conversation. So from here, make sure that you select Mage Hand. So yeah, once again, I forgot to do it. You can short rest here by clicking Y or the short rest button like that. Select your Mage Hand, and you're going to toggle crouch with the Mage Hand as well. And the reason why is because when you do that, you're hiding from the Orin here, and it'll take a while for the Mage Hand to start pathing over. And that is very important to have. So once again, you are sort of on a timer because Mage Hand only lasts 10 turns, so that's why it disappeared there. So once again, I'll show it here. Cast Mage Hand. You're going to short rest. Select your Mage Hand. Crouch. And you're going to toggle the shove. And you're going to cast Benign Teleportation on Tav, which is on the character portrait. So once you do that, you click shove and click on Orin and select your hero with F4, not clicking on the portrait for that, because you won't be able to while Mage Hand is on its pathing. So here, Benign Teleportation on your Tav, and once the Mage Hand stops moving, that's when you cast the spell. And if you do that correctly, you should teleport to this dev area. Here, there's a lot of interesting stored units here. It's just whatever is in this map that is going to be used in later parts. For instance, there's the Pixie Bell, since we do have the Pixie Bell fairy in our inventory. And a lot of other interesting things. And here is Gortash's Netherstone and hand and stuff. So go ahead and take the Netherstone with Jaheira. Right click to skip the dialogue. Click 4 to leave. And from there, you should be able to travel to the south span of Worm's Crossing. So now you are good to go. But some small important things to note is, once you do this teleport, you need to use a conjuration spell of level 1 or higher to replenish it. And since we're going to need to replenish it, we just cast Misty Step. So I just Misty Step forwards and it gets restored. Then we cast Mage Hand, because you can see Mage Hand is stuck talking to Orin right now, right here. And you can see our tab is dead right there as well. But yeah. So, because Orin's there, we're going to cast Mage Hand to get the other Mage Hand out of the conversation, and it'll get this journal pop up, and we are good to go. From here, we just cast Enhanced Sleep. And we're also going to cast Invisibility here. And we're just going to make our way all the way to the lower city. And since we're invisible, we don't talk to any of these guys. And to get past this unopened drawbridge, you can do the spam jump just past it. And you should be able to just clip right through the drawbridge. From there, just keep jumping forwards and you are good to go. Now, once you've entered the lower city here, you're going to do quite a few different things than the previous route here. First, we're going to select our Tav, and we're just going to move to the right here. This is so that we can have Jaheira kill our Tav and do the second Rogueport on Orin in the sewers. So from here, we're going to give the Warhammer to Jaheira, since this is a lot stronger and faster to kill our Tav with. We're also going to drag Ketheric's Netherstone into Jaheira's inventory, because for some reason, if you don't have both Netherstones in one character's inventory, it can cause some issues, so that's important. You can also drag the Scroll of Revivify to Jaheira's inventory, since we'll be reviving our Tav with Jaheira in the second part of this lower city act. And we're also going to drag the bell into Jaheira's inventory for a dialogue skip similar to what we used before. And make sure you have it in Jaheira's hotbar as well. From here, we're just going to have Jaheira kill our Tav. So it should take 3 swings. And we're just going to go ahead and pick our Tav up. From here, we just jump twice to get to this manhole to enter the lower city. And we're going to jump to the west wall here, where there's this wall that you're able to break. Even if you fail perception, you can just do the toggle attack thing and just start swinging at it. Sometimes it'll say it's immune, but that's just getting an unlucky swing, so just keep swinging and eventually it'll break. And then we're just going to keep jumping in this direction. From here, we're jumping across this gap here where all the fumes are. And here, this is where Yenna is going to spawn, which is Orin as disguised. So we're just going to jump into this area where it will trigger, so anywhere past this point. And when we do that, we're just going to spam click our bell. You don't have to do it too fast, but just mash it once you do the jump, so it'll look like this. And that'll get the cutscene with the fairy that we just skip, and we leave. And as you can see, Yenna appears and doesn't interact with us anymore. From here, same thing as before, we're going to do the Rogueport on this Yenna. So we're going to hide, pickpocket Yenna, and drag and drop our Tav's character portrait into the inventory of Yenna. From there, we're going to once again cast Mage Hand and do the same thing of crouching or sneaking with Mage Hand to shove Yenna, and casting the teleportation on our Tav with Jaheira by selecting with F4. So once again, it'll look like this. Mage Hand. We don't want to do a short rest here, or we don't need to, so don't worry about that. We're going to shove Yenna, select, and time the shove. And if you do it correctly, you will teleport. So if you teleport early enough, your Tav will not appear in this debug room. If you teleport too late, your Tav might appear in the debug room with you. In that case, make sure to pick up the Tav, or your Tav right here. It'll spawn right under Orin right here. And that is what all you need to do for this Rogueport. And this room is a lot bigger. There's a lot of other cool, interesting things in this area as well. And there's also all of these items here. But the only important thing that we need is Orin's Netherstone, so just click on that. And we get this cutscene, skip it, and say I'm not ready once again. And we're going to fast travel back to Basilisk Gate. And that is where we basically started as we entered the lower city. From here, we're just going to jump down and jump to the manhole. And once we do that, same thing as before, we're just making our way across. And as stated before, we do need to refresh this teleport once again, so we use Misty Step into this area here. And notice that our Tav is on the floor, Orin's still here, and the Mage Hand is still in conversation with Orin. So from here, we need to do the same thing again. So we're picking up our Tav. We're going to hide and pickpocket Orin this time. Drag and drop our Tav into the character's inventory. And for this one, this Rogueport is a lot more difficult. So this one is very precisely timed. You need to time the time that the Mage Hand, when you select the Mage Hand, it'll go back into Orin's dialogue. And once Orin finishes her dialogue, that is when she will teleport back to the temple. So when you want to teleport to the Temple of Baal here, you're going to just make sure that the dialogue finishes at the same time as you teleport. So if you do it correctly, I believe what I like to do is Orin has 2 lines, and very close to the end of the second line of dialogue is when I queue it up. So if you do it correctly, it should look something like this. So you select Mage Hand, and then you click Character Select and get ready to select Jaheira. And once Orin says set, that's when I click, and then click my Tav. So that is very quick. You can time it in other ways, but I find it easier when you have a set pattern for it. And yeah, if you do everything correctly, you should teleport to the Baal Temple, just like that. From here, we cast Enhanced Sleep, and we're just jumping to the west, and all the way up top here. So once again, this door is locked, but you can also Misty Step through this door from the opposite side. This one is a bit harder since it is a little bit further away. It's also a little bit more up than you expect, so just do that once you see it work, and you're free to go on to the Morphic Pools. So once again, just a couple jumps all the way through. If you need to recast Enhanced Sleep, you can. And we don't need Featherfall here since we're not dropping any distance. So we're just jumping across here. And when you do this all, you'll notice that there's no boat cutscene there. That's just a consequence of getting the Netherstones in this way. And we're into the final part of the game. So this final sequence also has quite a few changes, also because of the fireworks strat no longer being necessary, but it still requires infinite status if you want to do it in that way. So from here, we're going to have Lae'zel, same thing as before, jump into the pool, just so we have a dead character to be able to skip all the cutscene stuff. From here, we're doing the same jump onto this rock here somewhere. Should be like so. We're jumping to cross here. Same thing as I've explained in my previous tutorials. And from here, just keep going. Jump across.
Dominated. Control.
And keep jumping forwards.
Let us see.
And then once we hit this cutscene, this is when things are going to change a lot again. So notice that our Tav is still dead here. So what we're going to do is do the infinite status glitch once more. So we turn on turn-based mode, pick up our Tav. You can also pick them up from our character portraits here. So it'll look like this. Turn off turn-based mode, drop Tav on the floor, and we're going to go ahead and revive them. From here, we need our Tav to level up, and this is for invisibility since we need level 3 as well for all the rest of this part. So once again, make sure you have invisibility as one of the spells, and make sure it is selected. Also, since we are not doing fireworks strats, you need to make sure you have magic missiles equipped, since we'll be using magic missiles to finish off the nether brain here. From here, the feat that I choose is athlete, although it doesn't matter too much here. And for this part, we just choose whatever spells, and we are good to go. From here, normally, like, you're still selected as Jaheira, so I just cast invisibility on her Tav with Jaheira before switching. And we're just going to use our Tav to make our way down to the Emperor. And talk to the Emperor and become a Mind Flayer. So that'll be done with 3, and then 1 and 1 for the dialogues.
I trust you. All you come.
So at this point, before we needed the Emperor to not be with us here, but because of the new strats, we don't really mind having the Emperor with us, so we can just take the portal and continue on like usual. And when we skip this cutscene, the only thing that's left here is we're going to have Shadowheart jump into the void, and now everything from this point is brand new. So we're going to go ahead and open our action bar here, and you'll notice that this spell, Fierce Perilous Stakes, grants an ally an additional 15 psychic damage. So it is 15 bonus points of damage per attack, along with, if you have magic missiles, it shoots 5 magical darts at level 3. So when you do this, that's 5 times 15, which is around 75 damage. So the Nether Brain on Honor Mode has 450 health. So if we do 6 stacks of 15 damage of Perilous Stakes, it'll multiply to total exactly 450 base damage, which is enough to defeat the Nether Brain. So right here, this is when we start casting them. So we cast it on ourselves, and notice that because we have infinite status, even though this spell only lasts 3 turns, it will last indefinitely until we enter combat. So we'll cast it 6 times here. And once again, animation canceling does help speed up this process a bit. And you can do even more if you feel like you're not safe or you want to use like a lower magic missile spell. Just go ahead and calculate it. Or if you don't want to, just keep casting this buff like as many times as you need. From here, we're going to switch over to Jaheira and make sure your entire group is not grouped up, because Jaheira is going to go ahead on a solo mission all the way up to the brainstem. So once again, we're going to cast Enhanced Sleep and Featherfall on Jaheira. And we're just going to make our way out this way. And because Jaheira has so much strength, we're able to take this detour away from Withers here. And we're able to go this way. So instead of going this risky path where enemies can possibly see you, if you are fast enough and have good movement, you should be able to path through the center part where there's no enemies that can see you. So as long as you cast invisibility here, and this is where I jump, which is around this broken wall here, you'll notice that this person has see invisibility. But if we jump here, and we're going to jump at this precise spot at this corner, we won't get seen by that. And from here, we're able to just jump past through the center part. Even though there's a ton of enemies, none of them can see us. And that is a lot safer of a path to take. From here, we don't need the frog form anymore because Jaheira has so much strength to jump. And we're going to do the spam jump at the bottom of this staircase here instead of at the top. That lets us get this cutscene and puts us all the way at the top here. Now, this is very, very important. So before you enter this brainstem, you need to make sure all your characters, including the Emperor, are invisible at this point. So we switch over to our Tav, who is at the start here, and we're going to do an upcasted invisibility, so the level 3 invisibility, on the Emperor and ourselves. And once we do that, we switch over to Jaheira and cast invisibility once more as we enter the brainstem. So from here, we just skip all of this cutscene once again. Switch over to our Tav here, and we're just going to fly our way through. So make sure, sometimes enemies have this buff thing or see invisibility. Make sure you just avoid those enemies because they will start combat with you if you don't. And from here, we cast the spell for the crown here, and it will start combat. Notice that we don't immediately enter the crown. That's because our other characters are also in combat, so we just make sure that we switch over to our Tav by clicking on their portrait or ending the turn of our other characters. From here, because we have all the buffs, and as you can see when we enter into this area, this is when the buffs tick down 1 turn, but we still have 2 turns left of the buff. We're going to go ahead and cast Magic Missiles, which is upcasted to level 3 on the Nether Brain, and it should kill it in 1 hit with all 5 projectiles. And that is it. And that would be the game completed with this new route. So once again, everything's pretty much the same from here. Just go ahead, skip the cutscene, choose option 2 to dominate the brain, and then 1 to end the game. So once again, thank you all for watching this route tutorial for the Rogueport route. I will also be probably doing individual tutorials for some of the tricks, since I see a lot of people asking questions all the time, and I think it would be nice just to have an explanation video for specific tricks, because there's a lot more things behind the tricks that are available. For instance, infinite status, kidnapping, rogue porting. There's a lot of additional things that I don't talk about in the run. Also, I will probably do a controller run as well, just to demonstrate how this run would look using controller, along with a glitchless run in the future. And once again, that'll all be done probably within the next month or so, since I will be pretty busy. That is it for this tutorial. If you all enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe, and feel free to tune in and check out some more of my other runs.